Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek-A-Day. Today we're going to talk about the next handful of Star Trek Prodigy episodes as we get near the end of Season 2. Today we're talking about my impressions after watching episodes 15 through 18, starting with another two-parter, Ascension Parts I and II. It seems at first that Janeway and the crew of the Protostar are being taken off their mission at this point. Jellicoe is ordering the Protostar return to Earth for the Department of Temporal Mechanics and Starfleet headquarters to take over, bring Janeway back to a desk job. But before they can be retracted from their mission, suddenly the stakes grow much higher. They explode severity in an unprecedented amount of time as Essentia has harnessed seemingly impossible temporal technology to build a powerful fleet to challenge the Federation, and they find themselves in a situation where they're possibly going to be at war. And at first, the situation is rather dire as the creation of this fleet and a superweapon and a scene that is very reminiscent of a scene in the recent Star Trek Resurgence video game. The Voyager A is under attack and seemingly outgunned, and then they launch a three-pronged attack with Voyager as well as Chakotay leading our young Protostar crew to help save Voyager, while Dahl joins a group of smaller fighters designed by Tom Paris as he's beginning to settle more into his role in piloting over command. Like, he still has that desire and that presence to be someone of authority, but it comes more from a place of needing to find control, as he's felt out of control for most of his life. And even his catchphrase of, go fast, like, he really seems to be settling more into that sense of being a pilot, much more of a kind of Tom Paris type, while Gwendala is turning more into the commander type. She feels like a very suitable future second in command on a ship, and all the crew is really, over the course of the season, but particularly in the moments within these two episodes, this two-parter, kind of settling into their roles and growing into them, and there's a great maturity both in how they are interacting, even moments where a character might start to say something a little immature with their phrasing, as they would have said in Season 1, and then they kind of correct themselves partway through and sound a little more professional, and just little hints like that to see a lot of growth for them over the course of this season, and a lot of unconventional thinking and some self-sacrifice from the acts of Zero are what save the day, which leads into Brink, which serves as a lead-in to what is going to be, looks like, a two-part finale, as our Protostar crew plans to infiltrate Solum, and they find a younger, not supervillain, Essentia, on the planet, as they start their rescue mission of her father, as well as Wesley Crusher, who we found out had been captured, and that's how they were utilizing this extraordinary, far too advanced for their current means, temporal technology. And it was interesting, I knew from the earlier episodes, obviously Wesley was not done yet. He was going to be coming back in some form, but I was actually a little surprised with how he was utilized, and I thought it worked well within these three episodes, the Ascension Parts I and II, and Brink, and I liked kind of where they took that character, and it made a lot of sense as a means to utilizing, giving the big bads of the season some sort of superpower, something to overcome that seems very difficult. I feel like a good avenue for that, rather than, say, randomly finding some technology or bringing back some technology for the future, utilized a character as a plot device for that challenge, which works well. And there's also a good degree of humor that worked and didn't feel out of place at all once they finally do get to Wesley. I love when they kind of split the group and Wesley says, hey, there's a lot of heavy lifting going on with the words almost and nearly It just worked well, and I think that these three were exciting and fun and utilized again for the younger audience in moments, especially with the fighters, elements of kind of a more action heavy, a little more Star Wars-y feel. I've said that a bunch of times with Prodigy, and that's where what I think it does well is that it feels very true to Star Trek, but puts little elements in there, keeping in mind the focus on a younger audience, even while it's appropriate for an older audience as well, and putting in some things that might feel a little more exciting for a younger audience, as not every young kid, they're going to be into the more educational elements, are going to hopefully kind of find the joy and the messaging of Star Trek through that, but you need some more of these exciting kind of flashy elements to keep the attention of the majority of people within that age demographic, and utilizing it in a way that it doesn't overtake the story, it still functions within the story. And again, that's done that very well. And then we lead into Touch of Grey before getting into the two-part finale, which picks up immediately after the next episode. It really feels like these four are 4 parts to a longer episode. But we have a shift of focus now to the grown-ups. It's time for the grown-ups with Janeway, Chakotay, and the Doctor with Wesley, so a lot of the older legacy characters to have their moment in the limelight as they hatch a plan to spring the kids, our crew of the Protostar. And it felt like, without having seen the finale yet, we'll see how much that ties in, what treatment that gives to the Voyager aspect of the show, which has been very heavy in season 2. This one felt like it was a little more of a focus on a nod to the legacy of Voyager, which was really great, and focusing on that element of Prodigy season 2. So I really enjoyed that part within itself, and the way these, again, 4 episodes, it felt like just kind of one long, maybe an old school 2-parter split into 4 because of the shorter episode runtime. And I did like the little bit of characterization going into the Loom and making them feel a little less mindless, time-eating monster, just less of a mystical force feeling and a little more of a life form feeling. So overall, I did enjoy this string of 4 episodes, flowed well together. Again, did a good balancing act of focusing on the kids, focusing on the legacy characters, the Prodigy element, the bit of a celebration of Voyager element, and again balancing that adult audience versus kid audience thing, which is difficult to do, and I'm very much looking forward to checking out the finale next.